this was an awful lot like Sunday, wasn't it?
Yeah, we're having a good time. We're dedicated to one another right now. You know, when you're out there playing for one another, we're playing like some 9-year-old, 10-year-old kids, not worrying about the outcome, not worrying about individual stats or anything like that. Guys are just playing really hard for one another, enjoying one another. And I think when a team's playing like that, we're really hard to beat. You know, I mean, you see all the players out there celebrating one another. We celebrate every play. You know, even when they get a catch, you know, and it's a great hit, we celebrate that. You know, and they didn't even understand that. They were getting frustrated that we were celebrating those plays. But that's what happens when you're a team and you're together.
How much of that tonight was the effort in playing for the team versus the scheme that you had in place?
Well, the scheme we have in place has never changed. So I would say it's more playing for each other and the effort, because we didn't do anything special. You know, we didn't run any exotic blitzes. We didn't run any crazy coverages. You know, where we disguised this. We stood up, man up, stand up, and we beat them.
How big does that ball look as it's coming towards your hands? The 2 interceptions were right there.
Well, it looks the same size. You know, the second one was pretty entertaining. I was laughing the whole time because I told their sideline if they throw it my way, I'd end the game, and they threw it still. You know, way to be those guys.
There was almost a third one there too, right?
Yeah, I dropped the third one. I should have 3. I let my team down on that one. They're gonna chink me up.
Richard, how important is this win for you guys, given the playoff picture?
Every win's important. This win is no more important than any other one we had this season. You want to get as many as you can and set yourselves up in position to make a great run in the playoffs, and I think that's what we did today. Our team was dedicated, focused, and really locked in.
With the history with Kaepernick, a couple interceptions even sweeter?
What history? I know no history you're talking of. You know, there was an opponent who said he was throwing to the open man, and he didn't care who was out there, and I was the open man.
His Kaepernick's numbers against you guys the last 2 years are so much lower than anybody else. What is it that you guys have on him?
I have no idea. Our D-line played fantastic. They deserve a lot of credit. Our linebackers, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Bruce Irvin, they put a lot of pressure on guys. Us in the back end, Daryl Simon played lockdown defense the whole game. Byron Maxwell was playing lockdown. Cam and Earl are going to do what they do. They're Pro Bowl, all-pro players and show up to work every week. And we just played together. It was a game together. We don't worry about what they have or what he's doing or what his stats are, because they don't matter.
What's changed or what's returned these last 2 games, you think?
Just the energy. I think guys, and also help. Bobby Wagner, as you guys can see, makes a huge difference. That's not a knock on any of our other guys. He's just a high caliber player for us, and when he's out there, he makes a huge difference, and he allows KJ to play in his right spot, allows Bruce, he sets up the defense the right way. He makes the team better, and I think he doesn't get enough credit. He doesn't get the credit he deserves, and Cam doesn't either. And I hope, hopefully Cam will be an All-Pro this year, because he deserved it last year, but he got snubbed, and hopefully, they recognize him this year.
When you told him that if they throw to you, you're going to end the game, what did you hear back in return?
I didn't really pay attention. I was laughing too hard.
Is there anything mediocre about this game?
Their fans. Their fans were. Their fans, threw a few jabs, and then somebody threw a glass bottle at the end when we were jogging in. You never have to resort to name calling and some of the things they said, and it really just helps you appreciate your own fans. Appreciate the 12th man and how classy of an organization we have, and how classy our fans are, and how they stay through the whole game regardless of the outcome. That's huge. But not every fan can be a great 12th man. Thank you.
Did you notice how many left in the third quarter?
Yeah, I waved them goodbye.
There's a couple of drives that were longer, I think, than they needed to be because of penalties. Is that something that you guys will go back and talk about tomorrow?
It's nothing to talk about. These weren't penalties where guys were malicious and over zealous. Guys were playing hard. They were playing technique ball. Sometimes those are bang bang plays. They can call them either way, and they decided to call them those ways and help extend those drives. It's unfortunate, but it's not something that we're overly focused on, overly worried about.